For those of you who don't know me, I'm Shawn Axten. I'm a physical therapist here in Bend, Oregon. And I have the pleasure of having a private practice on the north end of town here over by Riverside Wellness. And I've specialized in a treatment modality called craniosacral. Cranio like the head, sacral like the sacrum. Craniosacral therapy. And it's a gentle hands-on modality to find, assess, and release restrictions in the body, and especially in the central nervous system. But over the past 20 years, my greatest joy is that I've been able to bring in the ability to hold a sacred space for people to do work on all levels. So we're bringing in mind, body, spirit, emotion, all the layers of the energy body. And so in keeping with our theme this month of Arts for the Soul, I feel really blessed because I literally get to practice my art for the soul all day, every day. My husband and I moved our family here in 2011, and we did so for a couple reasons. We wanted to downsize our life. We wanted to drive less. We wanted to be more intimately involved in a smaller community. And another high point was that I was experiencing a lot of illness, and it had been ongoing for quite some time. To this point, it's been about 25 years. And what we found was I really needed to dry out. I needed to get away from the good old Willamette Valley moisture and mold. And so we came this way, and we've loved it ever since. I do miss some of the green, but I love Central Oregon. But along those lines, it took how many years? 8 years to stumble into this community. And I'm so grateful, as Megan said this morning, this is such a welcoming community. And I feel really blessed to be welcomed in as part of it. And what I love the most about all of you is that I feel like we're the land of the misfit toys. We all have these unique and wonderful gifts that didn't quite fit in other places perhaps, but here we all are together and we fit beautifully. So my talk was going to be on Lyme disease, chronic infection. And so in 5 minutes or less, I'm going to sum up 25 years of chronic illness and what I've learned from it. Here I go. The most important thing, I think, is that I realized I needed to stop searching for answers out there. And really, in the end, all the answers were right here. So that's kind of the theme. And then the other thing was I realized that there are no black and white events in our life. They're not good or bad. Every one of them is powerful and meaningful and an opportunity to really take a close look at ourselves, to see our thoughts, our behaviors, our beliefs, sometimes those little subconscious limiting beliefs, and habits that tend to perpetuate whatever it is we're experiencing. So some folks would say Lyme disease starts with a vector, a tick that bites you, and it happens to inject into you whatever it has in it, as well as whatever it's received from the last 100 hosts that it has been dining on. So you get this glorious cocktail of bacteria and such. And the actual bacteria is Borrelia burgdorferi. It's a mouthful. And it's a spirochete bacteria. And so it has kind of a drill bit on its nose, and it's able to burrow deep into the tissues of the body. It can cross the blood-brain barrier. And so it has this brilliant ability to get into any system of the body and mimic all kinds of other disease processes. And so the most frustrating thing about Lyme disease is that you don't know you have it for a long, long time. You have lots of symptoms, and at one point in my life, I think I took a little survey, and I had 132 of 263 some symptoms. And they can range from anything, mimicking Parkinson's disease, or multiple sclerosis, or heart disease, epilepsy, all kinds of things. And I experienced some of those extreme symptoms, and then a lot of just chronic fatigue and exhaustion and trouble with mental clarity and word finding and all that. But it's been a gift to me in that it's taught me to learn to set boundaries, to say no when I need to say no, and to really celebrate and have deep gratitude for the moments when I feel great. And fortunately, those are much more often now. I'm stringing the dots together. And I guess to summarize, what I would say is 5 quick little points. And if you would humor me, I'll have you all raise your right hand and do this with me. So thumbs up. Put your fingers in like a fist, thumbs up. Always keep a positive mental attitude. My mom told me 5 important little words, and I'll have you do this with me too. It will be just fine. Can you say it with me? It will be just fine. And I mean, that works when you're in the outback with a broken leg and you don't know when anyone's going to come to get you for help, or when a drunk driver has just totaled your car and you. Truly, if you say, it will be just fine, you are focusing on the solution and not on the problem, right? Okay, and then if you do the pointer finger, I want you to take that finger and point it toward your own heart. And follow your heart. Follow your passion. Follow your inner wisdom into those places that creates freedom and joy and expansion versus the alternative. All right? Middle finger. Yep, you're all thinking it, and that's what I'm here to say. Instead of waving that middle finger at the heavens and cursing them for the unjust, unfair, horrible things that have happened in your life, how about we keep the wisdom and we let the story go? Can you feel that? We can learn so much, and yet we can be so stuck on the story and retelling the story. And I've had conversations with several of you who have also been coming out of different types of ailments and pain and anguish. And what we are all learning is the less you talk about that, the less attention you give to that, the less you perpetuate that, right? And then the 4th finger, the ring finger. And I purposely chose a ring finger for this because this is like a relationship that you're developing, meditation. So I really encourage us all to find the deep, quiet, sacred spaces in our life and to develop a relationship with your inner divinity, because it works as a magnetic clearing system. I really do believe it helps us to wipe the slate clean in every given moment. And the more we do it, the more it calls us back. It calls us back. And where is it calling us back? Home, to what we truly are. A divine, multi-dimensional, vibrational spirit of light. And then the last little finger, that weak little pinky finger, well, it is that way, so let it be that way. So I want you to allow. I want you to just relax, accept, and as part of that, forgive. And when we accept and we receive the situation and the information that's there for us, we stop resisting and we stop putting energy into it. And it's amazing how it can dial down the suffering. It's always worse when you're at home by yourself in pain on the floor, but then you go, I'm all by myself at home in pain on the floor, and it's way worse, right? You almost make yourself suffer more. And forgiveness. I can't go on enough about this, but you all know this is one of the most beautiful, forgiving communities I've ever seen. We're all really good at taking responsibility for ourselves and our actions, and letting everyone have a bad day, and that's okay. And it goes for the big, deep things too in life. the really serious things that have happened to us. As soon as we can let go of this closet door that we're holding shut with all the things piling up behind it, all the judgments and resentments, and step back, all this energy comes flowing out to use for ourselves. So that's my 25 years of chronic illness in a nutshell. I'm doing really, really well. And I'm so happy to have stumbled into this community and to be able to express my gifts and enjoy social interactions with all of you, and to be here and to praise the amazing spirit flowing through this place. And so if I can leave you with one last thought, is that we can do this. We can envision and build together a world that is loving, compassionate, welcoming, inclusive, respectful, and where we take responsibility. And if you ever have any doubt about that, or if you ever worry about that, I want you to remember 5 little words. Say them with me. It will be just fine.